come to the stage. You're going to love him. Put your hands together for Steven Sabota, everybody. Steven Sabota.
I'm not drunk, I'm not stupid, I'm just blind. You have no idea how hard it is to do this, to be the only comic in New York City that's not stoned on a Saturday night. So let me see here. I looked in the mirror before I came, and so I see that I'm going bald. I see that the stomach is sagging, the ass is slipping, and I would say yes. I can declare my divorce got finalized last week. My midlife crisis is indeed complete. I kicked its ass. I came, I saw, I conquered, and I apparently can now take that off my bucket list. That's my version of the bucket list. I thought it's much easier to do. The thing is, when you have a bucket list, it's kind of, you got to work at it. The bucket list, get out of bed, forget it, fuck it, mow the lawn, fuck it. It's much easier to be accomplished and to be an overachiever, you know. The thing about the going through a midlife crisis, I turned 40 in June. What you see tonight is a 40-year-old desperately wearing Armani to look younger. It was retail therapy, part of my midlife crisis. And the thing is this, so I've started to be reflective, and I thought, where did it all go wrong? Was it Saturday morning when we were led astray? When they told us that, you remember Schoolhouse Rock, and we thought that was everything we needed to know, and they told us things like, conjunction, junction, what's that function? 30 years later, I still have no clue, but I love it. That's my favorite one. Of course, well, second favorite. The first favorite, of course, I loved was Interjanet Planet. Remember the Galaxy Ho? Interjanet Planet was a galaxy girl. There's never been a planet Janet hasn't seen, and there's this hoe in a red Dolly Parton wig floating around all the planets, and all the astronauts were like, hey, Janet. You know, I think possibly our host was the model for the penis thing. You know, the other thing is this, as you go through your midlife crisis, I think some things have become clear. I have thought about religion, I've thought about the Ten Commandments, and I have questions. They're a list of 10, and they seem kind of straightforward and obvious, but not so much. Thou shalt not steal, seems pretty straightforward. If it's not yours, don't take it. But does that apply to office supplies? Another one that might be straightforward, and this is, I'll warn you, the guys in the audience will like this joke better than the married women. If you're in the ICU and you're visiting your favorite relative, let's say it's your mother-in-law, and the machine is going boop, 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 and I'm clumsy, so I trip. Boop! And she flatlines. Now, did you just do St. Peter a favor, or did you just kill her? I'm not sure. It's that very reason I make sure I carry a copy of the Ten Commandments in my back pocket at all times. So when I meet St. Peter, I can argue intelligently and say, come on, man, she was almost out. She was almost gone. I did you a favor. You know, the other thing is this, one thing I have learned is this, do not listen to country music when you're going through a midlife crisis. Do not do it. You will be sorry. You won't be laughing. The #1 song in country music of all time is by George Jones, one of my favorite artists. But the #1 song is very messed up. It's called He Stopped Loving Her Today. He stopped loving her today because he died. I'm just not sure that's an appropriate thing to do to yourself when you're going through a midlife crisis and your wife is throwing you out, and you now live in a shoebox, and you love it. My apartment is so small, if I trip just right on the threshold, I can land in bed. It's great for date night. The other thing I'm grateful for, well, I've started dating again, or actually texting. As you all know, it's a different thing than it was 20 years ago. You kids, now it's just, before you used to write these effusive letters about how it was so great last night, and you'd write a letter, put it in the mail, you'd wait 4 days for her to get lucky. Now it's instantaneous gratification, but it still is very weird for me, because the thing is, I will write this long, effusive, thumbing text message, and you'll get back, K. Not even a whole word, not okay, just K. The other thing I've noticed is I'm grateful, you know, my job, I go about 2, 3, 4 seminars a year. They send me on conferences across the country. One thing I've noticed is I have a question. Why do they spend all that time and money and energy engineering the perfect anti-theft coat hanger in the closets of hotels? And you know what I mean, they make them with the little small little hooks so you're not gonna steal them. But I beat that one. My rod in my closet is only this small, so they fit my closet. The hotels you see me coming, they have those little bitty pinheads, so they all it is a metal pin, those okay. But meanwhile, the big screen TV is sitting there, not bolted down, you can move it. It's for that very reason that I make it a point to get a room by the back door to the parking lot. Makes it very easy. Like I said, thou shalt not steal. It's not a very obvious one, you know. The other thing I've discovered is this. I finally figured out what the priest was talking about on the day he pronounced my sentence. I mean, the day he pronounced us husband and wife. For those of you who are Catholic, or those of you who are, I don't know what you evangelical folks do, but they sit there and the last thing the priest says before he passes down judgment, he says, what God has joined together, let no man set asunder. And I've thought for the last 14 years since I was serving my sentence, and I thought, what does asunder mean? And it finally figured it out. Asunder sounds like thunder, sounds like doom and doom. When you mix up the letters, what does it spell? Mother-in-law. Oh yeah, it all starts out well and fine in the beginning. You know, it's all like Linda the Good Witch. Come out, wherever you are. And then it all goes to hell in a handbasket. And she turns to the wicked witch and she's, who popped my daughter's cherry? Was it you? Did you like that one? It's maybe time to take it out on my act, but now that I heard your response, I'm going to leave it in there for a few more sets. See, and for those of you who have not been married, take notes. And then, you know, the other thing that I've learned as I travel the country, I wanted to mention this to you. Don't mention to anybody else in the country that you're from New York City. Keep it a secret. I was at a conference last year, and the folks are from Wisconsin, my native state, home of the Packers, that are, what are they, 7-0 Packers? That's right. Say what you want. The trophy's going to name after one team, baby. And so I was having this conversation, and we were talking, and it was great, and it was wonderful. And then as soon as they said, oh, where do you live now? And then I said, I live in New York City, home of the moaning front row people. And they stopped talking to me. They started to whisper, oh, I don't even know he's from New York. We shouldn't talk to him. I don't think it's safe to talk to him. It ended the conversation. So what I thought would be appropriate, I think what New York City needs is a little public relations. I think what they need is a letter from the mayor, a little bit of a welcome letter that I think might help people outside the city understand us better. And I think that might be achieved by a letter saying, welcome to our city. Please feel free to walk at a leisurely, glacially pace, especially during the hours of 8 and 9 a.m. There's nothing we love better than a leisurely stroll during rush hour. And don't worry, our employers don't mind it when we're late. As you walk the streets, be certain to walk 5 abreast. And under no circumstances, unlink your arms, lest you have to come apart and get lost and meet in front of your favorite eating establishment, McDonald's. And most importantly, when you walk through the turnstile in the subway, make sure to stop immediately. There's nothing we love better than a little subway booty in the morning. That's it. Have a good night.